shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
New this morning, winter storm watch in effect for this weekend. We'll talk about what some of the snow totals are looking like. Yep, we're going to give you the numbers.
And while she's going to give you the numbers, we are talking about getting ready. In a few hours, teams are going to start making moves to prepare the roads for the snow. How the weather will affect your weekend travel. Plus, going green. A throwback night brings history back to the ice in Raleigh. What hockey fans can expect tonight at Lenovo Center. Oh, we are just trucking along at this week as you're waking up this Thursday morning at 4:30. Thank you so much for joining us here on WRAL News. I'm Chris Lovingood. Well, if you were tired of that winter weather we saw last weekend, I'm so sorry. Another bout is on the way. A little different, though, than what we saw last week. We have Elizabeth Gardner, who's tracking that for us this morning.
Yeah, it is cold out there. We're going to get you out the door and then talk about some of those snow totals. This is a live look at downtown Raleigh where the roads are looking okay. But I know there are still some places that are slippery out there. A lot of schools are on delay this morning. And, you know, by the time kids head out to school, even if it's 2 hours delay for, say, Wake County, there's still going to be icy patches. So just be careful. 27 is the temperature, and the wind chill will be an issue for us today. The wind is northwest at 9 miles per hour. So it feels like 18 in Durham and Raleigh, 19 in Rocky Mount, and 17 in Roxborough. So kids at the bus stop this morning really need to be bundled up. We get back into the 20s at around 8 a.m., and we're looking at only upper 30s this afternoon. So not a great day to get outside. Let's take a look at that snowfall forecast. So we started looking at this, several days ago. The computer models have been all over the place, but it looks like what's going to happen as a low develops off the coast, cold air is in place and the cold air moves in. Now there's likely to be a band of some very heavy snow, but it's impossible to tell exactly where that is. So we're putting 3 to 6 inches down, and there may be some heavier totals in there. And as it gets a little closer, we may be able to fine tune that. But look at this. This is our probability of 3 inches of snow, and it's anywhere from 82 to 92% across our area. So we take a look at our impacts for this weekend. High risk for travel, and we're talking about some significant snow on the roads. Yes to sledding, yes to snowmen, and just isolated power outages. This is not likely to be the potential for an ice storm. Coming up, I'm going to walk you through Futurecast, and we'll talk about the timeline.
All right, sounds good, Elizabeth. Thank you. And before the snow even starts falling, teams are already out preparing the roads. Let's go ahead and bring in WRAL's Ali Kadlabar at the NCDOT maintenance yard in Raleigh this morning. Ali, we're talking about a mountain of salt that they have prepared in the event they need to start taking care of even more roads.
Yeah, and you can see that behind me. In a couple of hours, DOT trucks are going to head out on the roads. And this morning, they're brining highways to prepare for this weekend's winter storm. Now, NCDOT says they're treating the entire area again. They are well stocked on brine and salt, ready for another round of winter weather. We've seen crews work around the clock to just remove all of that leftover sleet. NCDOT says some of those icy patches may stay as the snow falls this weekend. So they say the snow will be easier to get off the roads, but people should still be cautious.
People still need to be very careful out on the roads. I mean, we will clear this snow off easier than we've had to in the process of clearing the sleet off of, the accumulated sleet off. But as we head into this next storm, we need to be vigilant.
Here's something you need to be aware of. NCDOT says it was easier for them to get out on the roads and clear them this past weekend because there weren't a lot of people on the roads. So they're asking people to do the same this weekend. Stay off the roads so that they can easily clear off the expected snow. Reporting live in Wake County, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Well, today we'll learn more about how North Carolina is getting ready for the snow this weekend. Governor Josh Stein plans to hold a news conference at 1 today, and we will carry that press conference live on WRAL, WRAL.com, and WRAL News Plus. In Mooresville, road teams are already starting the process of brining roads. In fact, teams are trying to do what they can to prepare for the weekend. The Public Works Department started brining yesterday, and they'll pick back up today and brine both primary and secondary roads. Wake and Durham County schools, they are on 2-hour delays today. Other districts will be remote, including Orange and Granville counties. Person, Halifax, and Chatham counties are closed, as well as Mecklenburg County, Virginia. But we have a full list of closures on our website, WRAL.com. All right, we want to show you some of the road conditions that we're still seeing locally here. These are photos from Chatham County schools. They show how rough the roads are, at least during the daylight. Orange County Emergency Services says that it had a big spike in calls related to people slipping and falling on ice. Because of all the lingering ice, it's important to walk slowly and be cautious for any hidden ice in shady spots. Now, with the chance for more winter weather this weekend, now is the time to make sure you have that WRAL weather app downloaded on your phone. You will see updated videos, graphics, and minute-by-minute forecasts. Just make sure you turn on push notifications. A new order has been filed in the Austin Thompson case. Thompson pleaded guilty to murdering 5 people in Raleigh in 2022. Because Thompson was 15 at the time of the shootings, he will go through a special sentencing hearing. That will determine whether he'll be eligible for parole. Now, typically, his crimes would carry a mandatory sentence of life in prison without parole. Sentencing is scheduled to begin on Monday, and it could last several weeks. Today, Durham Public Schools will consider an increase to after-school programming costs. They're considering different costs for the 2026-27 school year. Right now, the program costs more than $2 million to operate than it brings in. One of the proposed plans would make the program self-sufficient with a 50% increase in tuition costs. Registration for the after-school program lottery will open in early March, and tonight's board meeting starts at 6:30 p.m. New developments out of Minnesota this morning. 2 Border Patrol agents involved in the deadly shooting of ICU nurse Alex Preddy have been placed on administrative leave. That's according to a spokesperson for Homeland Security. The department is also distancing itself from its initial assessment of the shooting. Shortly after that shooting, Homeland Security said Preddy wanted to, quote, massacre law enforcement. Well, now the department says that statement was based on reports from a, quote, very chaotic scene. The shooting is still being investigated. Here locally, more than 100 people gathered last night outside the Durham VA to honor Alex Preddy. The North Carolina chapter of National Nurses put on this vigil. Those nurses shared messages to Alex Preddy and to the administration.
Alex, we are here today because we believe our eyes.
I agree that people should come here in certain pathways, but this is not the way to do it. This is not the way to enforce.
More vigils are expected in the coming days to honor Preddy and Renee Good. She's the woman shot and killed by an ICE agent earlier this month. And after the escalations in Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz says that he will not run for political office again. Instead, the governor says that he will serve his community in other ways. You may recall weeks ago, Walz said that he wasn't going to run for re-election after the fallout from the state's handling of reported child fraud, but now he says that he won't run for elected office again. The Congressional Budget Office says National Guard deployments cost taxpayers almost $500 million from June through December 2025. The CBO is a nonpartisan office. It says if the deployments continue at this rate through the year, it could cost taxpayers more than $1 billion. The findings are based on the deployments to LA, DC, Memphis, Portland, and Chicago. A White House spokesperson said that it responded to the CPO's estimates, I should say, and she said the deployments helped lessen crimes in respective cities there. Investigators say that a murder suspect from Robinson County is on the run. According to deputies, Zion Britt escaped the Columbus County Jail after pretending to be another inmate who was set to be released. Britt is facing first-degree murder and conspiracy charges, and he was last seen Tuesday wearing a black hooded jacket, dark shoes, with a pink shirt hanging out. Authorities think that he's back in Robinson County, and they're asking anyone with information to call 911. A man is accused of sexually assaulting people at a Wake Med mental health facility. Devin Lilly faces 9 charges, including kidnapping and rape. Investigators say he broke into the hospital nearly 2 weeks ago. He appeared in court Tuesday and is being held without bond. The hospital system told us that Lilly is not affiliated with Wake Med. In a statement, the hospital said, quote, Wake Med has a long-standing zero-tolerance policy in place to protect the safety and well-being of our staff and those we serve. We take any allegation of harm extremely seriously, end quote. Nash County leaders are warning residents about a dangerous dog. They say a dog attacked a person and is considered extremely dangerous. The dog is described as an adult male cane corso with a brindle and black coat. You are asked not to approach him and instead report any sightings to the Sheriff's Department or even Animal Control. Tonight, the Carolina Hurricanes will go green for their Hartford Whalers night. The Canes will wear their popular retro jerseys tonight. They're taking on the Utah Mammoth at Lenovo Center. The Canes moved from Hartford to North Carolina back in '97, and they played in Greensboro for 2 seasons before moving to Raleigh in 1999. Tonight's puck drop is at 7 p.m., and WRAL's Pat Welter will have coverage throughout the evening on WRAL. Your time is 4:39 this morning, wave season. If the cold has you dreaming of sunshine, well, the timing might just be perfect. The deals that could make your next vacation a steal. Plus, shoveling safety. Another round of wintry weather could mean more time behind the shovel. The simple mistakes that could put your health at risk. And we do want to go ahead and take you outside live for a look at Carr Lake. Things are nice and quiet for now. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is going to break down the new winter storm advisory and who could see that bit of snow this weekend.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
All right, let's take a look outside right now. We do have at the top of the tower lit in blue because we have clear skies out there. It is a nice, crisp, cold start. When I walked in the building just now, it's like, oh my goodness, yeah, that wind is biting. So it does feel like 18 in Durham and Raleigh. It's 27 degrees. It's 26 in Southern Pines. It feels like 20. It's 23 in Roxborough, feeling like 16. Temperatures might drop a little bit more. We got forecast temperatures potentially down into the teens this morning. And then we're looking at a cold afternoon with highs of 37. We'll see lots of sunshine today, and there will be some kids out of the bus stop. I know several of our districts, I think Durham and Wake County, are on a 2-hour delay. So just be careful out there. There are going to be some more slick spots coming up. We're going to talk about what's headed our way this weekend.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Well, we have new information this morning about companies at the center of that baby formula botulism outbreak. A California company called Organic West Milk Inc., they supplied the dried milk powder. A Dairy Farmers of America plant in Nevada then processed it. The outbreak affected By Heart infant formula, and dozens of babies in 19 states have gotten sick because of it, including in North Carolina. A new census report shows that North Carolina is the third fastest growing state in the country. Our state is growing more than twice as fast as the United States. The country's population as a whole grew by only 0.5%. That sluggish national growth was worse than every year of the last century except for one, the height of the COVID pandemic. The Buddhist monks on their walk for peace are on the move today, and they're leaving Gasburg, Virginia today on their way to Lawrenceville and Alberta. Yesterday, they crossed the state line from North Carolina into Virginia, and they participated in a peace-sharing talk there at a church in Gasburg last night. That was before they stopped to rest. The monks' final destination will be our nation's capital, and of course, we will keep you up to date on their journey. And just 1 week after an ice storm, more winter weather is around the corner. But before shoveling your driveway, here are some things you want to consider. The American Heart Association says you'll want to take things slow. Push the snow instead of lifting it. And wear the right clothes. One physical therapist says to treat shoveling kind of like a workout by stretching and warming up beforehand.
Bend at the knees and hips, shovel some snow, stand up out of that, and then walk the snow to where you need to put it to get it out of the way.
Shoveling snow can take a toll on your body, of course, and could even risk heart-related problems. Now, if this winter weather is giving you the seasonal blues, it may even be time for a vacation. Several cruise companies are offering major discounts right now through March. It's known as a waived season. Princess Cruises is offering up to 40% off on selected trips. Celebrity Cruises has a deal for 75% off of the second guest on select trips. And Carnival Cruises is offering 50% off select trips, but that deal ends January 31st.
This time of year is slow when it comes to travel. This is an incentive to get people thinking about travel, planning, and booking their cruises.
And it's not just big cruise lines that you can also find deals on. Many river cruises have some as well. The extreme cold affecting millions across the U.S., and it could be one of the longest in decades. Forecasters say the bitter cold will linger into next week with another surge on the way. More than 200 daily cold records could be broken. The south and east may drop 30 degrees below normal. New York and Chicago are facing their coldest mornings in years. It's really hard not to talk about that this morning, right? Although, after talking about vacations, I don't know, maybe a sunshine and a palm tree on a beach somewhere sounds a little nicer than what's coming up.
I don't know, Chris. Do you know how many people get on a plane and fly to Denver, or wherever to go skiing? Yes, now we don't have to get on a plane for that. Yes. So I know. No, it's going to be a very impactful system over the weekend. And since we just did it last weekend, I know. We do have higher confidence in a weekend snowstorm. Start preparing for some measurable snow. I know the grocery stores are going to get raided again. I would go as early as you can. And keep checking back for updated totals. We do have the snow totals map out, and I'm going to show it to you right after we take a look at the winter storm watch, which is brand new this morning. It is going to be windy during this, which is different than last time. So winds are going to be gusting 25 to 35 miles per hour, so snow may be blowing around, and we could see at least 3 inches or more. What is likely to happen here is once the low develops, we're going to see a band of snow that develops and it's just impossible to say where that's going to be. It makes more sense that that band would be closer to the coast because that's where the low is. But in this case, it may not happen that way. So 3 to 6 inches overall, but don't be surprised if there's a band of some higher totals that sets up somewhere in our viewing area. Potentially, as we get closer, maybe tomorrow, we'll be able to look at that better. But the models have been all over about where that could be. All right, let's watch this develop. By Friday at 6 o'clock, there already could be a few light flurries in our northern counties. By midnight Friday night, expect the snow showers to develop. And then it gets a little heavier as we get into the day Saturday. Saturday morning, you can see those darker blues. And then again, during the evening on Saturday, it lasts until very early Sunday. And then we start to see it moving out. We should start to see the skies clearing. Let's take a look at what you're seeing outside this morning. The roads look great here right through downtown Raleigh. This, of course, is a look from our Jimmy V camera at Fayetteville Street, where it is 27, and we have northwest wind at 9. Temperatures might fall a little bit more than that this morning, but the wind is a little breezier. Sometimes that wind mixes up the layers of the atmosphere and actually keeps our temperature a little warmer, but it also means the wind chill makes it feel cooler. So 19 in Rocky Mount, 21 South Hill, feels like 18 in the Triangle, and 20 in Southern Pines with that wind chill. Wind chill could be down in the teens all the way up until around 9 or 10 o'clock this morning, and it could feel like 33 or so this afternoon. Our normal low is 32. Once we get that snow in here, we're going to be locked into some teens again through early next week. 53 is our normal high, and we'll definitely see cold temperatures over the weekend, 25 Saturday, 29 on Sunday. The difference in this system compared to what we saw last week is last weekend we had what we call a warm nose. We had warm air coming in the middle of the system, and that brought us mixed wintry precipitation. Right now, this looks like we are cold top to bottom, so it would be all snow. Cold temperatures between now and then finally we may break out of the 30s for one day next week, Chris. How about that for a warm vacation?
41?
Woo!
Heat wave incoming. All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Your time is 4:49 this morning. Coming back, a fan favorite show returns, and football's biggest ads are already making buzz. What's ahead in entertainment? And you may want to mark your calendar because one of the Triangle's biggest celebrations has dates already. What we know so far about NC Central's ultimate homecoming experience. Getting you a live look outside, Fenton and Cary. No one's out there, I would hope not. It's 4:53 in the morning, but hey, don't worry. If you want to hit that ice rink there, you may get the perfect winter feel, especially this weekend. Goodness. Well, we're talking about Breeze Airways expanding at RDU. Breeze will soon offer direct flights to Madison, Wisconsin, Atlantic City, New Jersey, and San Antonio, Texas. Those flights all take off later this year. The earliest one is San Antonio, which begins in May. Breeze has added several new flights at RDU over the past year. And the TSA will launch a new identity check system this Sunday. It's called Confirm ID. If you don't have an acceptable ID, let's say maybe a passport or real ID, you can still get through security, but it will cost you $45 to use Confirm ID to verify. North Carolina Central is looking ahead to its next homecoming. The school set the dates for the ultimate homecoming experience, and that homecoming will run from October 2nd through the 10th, but tickets haven't gone on sale just yet. Well, we got Ted Lasso coming back this summer, plus an early look at Super Bowl commercials. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
That treadmill has not ceased for me.
Jason Sudeikis is back on the Ted Lasso treadmill. Apple TV says season 4 of the popular series will debut this summer. A half-dozen familiar faces will be joined by a flock of new characters as Ted returns to Richmond to coach a women's football team.
Instacart lets you choose your bananas. Get 'em just how you like.
Instacart promotes its preference picker in its new Super Bowl ad with a back-flipping Benson Boone and Ben Stiller as his retro Euro disco pop duo partner who's determined not to be outshined. You'll see if he's okay on Super Sunday.
What's a booster? Somebody that steals clothes from a store and sell it at a discount price? It's like community service.
Keke Palmer leads a squad of shoplifters targeting a fashion maven played by Demi Moore in I Love Boosters. The first teaser just dropped for the new movie from Sorry to Bother You filmmaker Boots Riley. I Love Boosters opens in theaters May 22nd. Always fashion forward in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, the new iPhone Air might not carry much weight with consumers. A new survey from Consumer Intelligence Research Partners shows 6% of iPhone 17 shoppers in the U.S. opted for the slimmer design. 27% of buyers purchased the 17 Pro Max, with sales of the regular Pro model slightly behind that. 22% of those surveyed bought a standard iPhone 17. Having a dog around could help teenagers who are facing mental health challenges. Researchers studied nearly 350 teens in Tokyo. They found teens with a dog in the home showed fewer social problems and a higher well-being. They also scored lower in withdrawal, aggression, and delinquent behaviors. Scientists point to social interaction and even possible microbiome changes. Time is 4:56 this morning. Prepping roads. Today, teams are going to get a head start before the next round of winter weather moves in. How snow could affect roads this time around. And virtual classes and schedule changes. What school leaders will be watching closely before making calls for next week. And utility scams. Scammers are using the cold weather as a new way to target you. 5 on your side reveals the text messages you should never click.